Welcome to Man at the Tap, a podcast from Tapestry Ministries. Each episode reflects on a daily Bible reading from the Revised Common Lectionary. I'm Gloria, a fellow traveler on a spiritual journey with the Tapestry community, and we refer to the daily Bible reading as our spiritual manna. It nourishes our souls, fostering spiritual growth as we share insights and interpretations that enrich our spiritual lives. Today is Monday, September the 29th, 2025, in the 16th week after Pentecost during this season of ordinary time. This is a time for us to live an extraordinary disciplined life as we grow spiritually. The lectionary reading is from the Songbook of the Old Testament, Psalm 62, a poem written by King David, which was then set to music by the choir director for the choir to sing. The psalm invites us to connect with, affirm, and honestly express our life experiences. And if you've ever felt overwhelmed by life's circumstances and found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place, consider listening to, then praying Psalm 62. It had been a harsh reality in King David's life as his enemies chased after him. But he paused to write this poem. In it, he shared his fears and worries with himself. He begins the poem by expressing his need for God. For God alone, his soul waits in silence. From him comes his salvation. God alone is his rock and salvation, his fortress, and he shall not be shaken. As David continued to write, his mind drifted to the threats of his enemies, and he's unsure how many of them will attack him, leaving him like a leaning wall, a quick shove, and it would collapse. But David cannot permit his mind to linger there. So he pauses silently. That's a sacred moment, a deep breath. And as he exhales, he repeats the words, I will rest in God alone, for my hope comes from God. For God alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I will not be shaken. He continues reflecting on who God is to him. God is his refuge, the one he trusts, and the one he will pour out his heart to. He urges everyone who's listening to this song to do the same, trusting God at all times and pour out your heart before God. You can hope in God and only in God. The poet will take another moment of silence, another sacred pause to reflect. Breathe in deeply on what it means to pour out one's heart before God. As David exhales, he realizes that ordinary people and important people are the same when placed on the scales of life. They are but a breath. So he warns everyone not to trust oppression or have false hope in robbery. And do not set your heart on riches, because they cannot save you. The poet concluded with a promise about God, a promise he has heard 2 times. And here is the promise: power and faithful love belong to God. Can I repeat that promise again? Power and faithful love belong to God. And may I add, nothing can separate us from God's love.